When we talk about faith, it's easy to think of it as, well, kind of like a switch. You either have it or you don't, right? But what if that whole idea is just wrong? What if we've been looking at it completely backwards? What if faith isn't a switch at all, but something that actually grows? So let's just run with that idea for a minute. What if faith grew like a tree? I mean, really picture it. It's not just this one single point of belief anymore. Instead, it's this living, breathing thing with deep roots, a solid trunk, and dozens, maybe even hundreds of branches. Seriously, this one single metaphor could completely change how we think about the whole thing.
Okay, so first things first. We got to unpack what faith even means here, because in the tradition we're looking at today, it is so much more than just a feeling you have on the inside.
And this really gets to the heart of it, doesn't it? Is faith something you just feel? A private, internal belief? Or is it something you have to do? Something that shows up in the real world, through your actions, through what you say? Well, the answer, as you're about to see, is yeah, it's both.
So in this specific tradition, faith, or iman, is actually a three-part deal. It all starts in the heart, right? A real, genuine belief. But, and this is a big but, it doesn't just stay there. It has to be spoken with your tongue, and then, crucially, it has to be translated into action. It's this active, dynamic process, not something passive at all.
Okay, let's get back to our tree metaphor because this is where it all starts to click together. This whole idea of faith as a tree, it's not some new thing I just made up. It comes straight from a teaching, a hadith of the Prophet Muhammad. And he gives us this absolutely beautiful blueprint for how to understand it all.
And this blueprint, it starts with a number, 70 plus. That's right. According to this teaching, faith isn't just one single thing. Nope, it's this whole system with over 70 different parts, or, as we're calling them, branches.
And there's this one specific teaching that just lays it all out perfectly. It goes like this. Faith has over 70 branches. The uppermost of them is the declaration, there is no God but God. And the least of them is the removal of a harmful object from the path. And modesty, haya, is a branch of faith. Wow! Right there in that one sentence, we get the three key parts of our tree. The highest branch, the lowest branch, and this really special one, a branch of the heart. So let's break each of those down.
All right, first up, let's look at the very top of the tree. Or actually, maybe it's better to think of it as the very core, the trunk, really. This is the absolute foundation. It's where everything else gets its strength, its life. So that highest branch, that trunk of our tree, is the core declaration. There is no God but God. This belief, this tawhid, it's the central pillar. It's the main source of all the strength and all the nourishment for the whole system. Let's be clear. Without this strong trunk, none of the other 70-plus branches could even exist. Okay, so now we're going to do a complete 180. We're going to swing from the absolute most profound belief you can have all the way down to what's called the least of the branches. And this is where the whole concept just becomes so real, so incredibly practical.
I mean, just look at this incredible spectrum. On one end, you've got the most significant theological statement you can possibly imagine. And on the other end, simply removing something harmful from the path. A nail, a piece of glass, anything that could hurt someone. This is amazing. It shows that faith covers everything, from your deepest, most abstract beliefs, all the way down to the smallest acts of public service.
And this is so important to get right. Just because it's called the lowest branch doesn't mean it's unimportant. Not at all. In fact, think of it more like the roots of the tree, reaching out into the soil. These small, real-world actions are what ground a person's faith, connecting it to the community and making it something that actually helps other people.
Okay, so we've got the trunk. That's our core belief. We've got the smallest branches. Those are our simple good deeds. But remember, that original teaching mentioned one more thing. A really special kind of branch. One that isn't exactly an action, and it's not a statement either. It's an inner quality. And that concept is haya. Now, you'll often hear this translated as modesty or shyness, but honestly, it goes so much deeper than that. It's this inner sense of right and wrong, a deep awareness of God that kind of acts like your moral compass. If the core belief is the trunk of the tree, then haya is like the sap, flowing through the entire thing, nourishing every single branch and every single leaf.
you can kind of break it down into three parts. First, there's an awareness of God, knowing you're always seen, which stops you from doing wrong even when you're alone. Then there's an awareness of other people, which leads you to treat them with respect and dignity. And finally, there's an awareness of yourself, of maintaining your own integrity and honor. It's basically the internal engine that drives ethical action. All right, so what's the big takeaway here? What does all of this mean for you and me right now? How do we take this amazing tree metaphor and actually make it a living, breathing part of our lives? Let's bring it all home.
Here's the bottom line. Your faith is a living system that you can actually cultivate. You nurture the trunk by constantly strengthening that core belief. You grow the branches by never, ever thinking a small act of kindness is meaningless. That's how you reach out into the world. And you protect the whole tree by cultivating that inner awareness, that haya, which is the sap that keeps everything healthy. See? It all works together.
And that really brings us to the final and maybe most important question. When you stop seeing faith as this static thing and start seeing it as a living, growing tree, it gives you all the power. It means you can choose to make it grow. So I'll leave you with this. If your faith is a tree, what new branch are you going to grow today?